Sarah Ashton, and it's such a weird story, but what it is like on the ground for an American journalist turned enlisted Ukrainian soldier. After 11 months in a war-torn country, what does she want Americans to know about the Ukrainian people? Like, this clip is pretty
Let me say this.
bizarre. Go ahead.
That journalist who went to Ukraine, which I'm assuming to cover it, right? So she went to cover Ukraine, and then she turned to a soldier, and now she's back doing interviews with Andrew Yang. Let me tell you, that journalist made the best career move I've ever seen. She's smart as hell. Like, dude, the liberal media is about to love this person.
Yeah.
What a great career move. Remember when what's his name? Nance, that black dude from MSNBC.
Oh yeah, Malcolm Nance.
Yeah, Malcolm
Nance. I'll break it on his name.
Such a turd.
Malcolm Nance. He's another guy who made an objectively good career move. When the Ukraine war started, he was like, "I'm going to enlist in the Ukraine war," and then all the liberals like, "Oh my God, you're so brave! Look, Malcolm is putting his money where his mouth is." And finally, so now he's gonna come back home. He's gonna write a book about. I already see him like do stuff like this is what it looked like on the Ukraine. Like the journalists that are doing this are making an amazing career move for the liberal establishment because that will make you climb the ranks. But anyway, go ahead, CJ. I'm sure that is what this is about for this person. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You commented that the only things people care about in Ukraine are your character, your actions, your behavior, your commitment, and things around your identity are not on anyone's mind. And you describe that as actually a different set of experiences than you have in the US.
And coming over here, you realize nothing matters but liberty and these ideas and values of strong democracy and freedom. And so ultimately...
So what I was going to say, and I didn't want to tip it off, and I stopped myself. This is obviously a character.
Obviously, CIA.
This is obviously a character. I mean, a character. And 100. Let me tell you the capacity that I know. I put out an ad about bringing on people with panel. I remember when I was doing a lot of panels, she answered one of them and was in the chat. She's still in one of the... Yes.
What?
Yes, I've been corresponding with her through DMs.
Okay.
Like about more than a year ago, maybe like a year ago. And yes, she wanted to be on panels. She was going to be on one of the panels, end up not being there.
No.
Tried to get me to look her up on Google. I never did, and maybe that's why I didn't find out.
Maybe that was before she found this new. Maybe that was before.
Yeah. This is before this. She didn't go. She wasn't.
So once again,
any of this yet.
Maybe she wanted to dabble into independent media, and then she realized, like, you know what? If I become a shit lib,
notice she's wearing a Zelensky t-shirt, by the way. By the way, I just looked it up because I was like, this name sounds really familiar. This is the same person who went to a monument, a Soviet monument for those who died fighting fascism, and was like, your fascism, your totalitarianism will not get a monument, Putin. Like, what the fuck are you talking
I remember
about?
that video.
That's her.
This is a character.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, this is a character, man.
100%.
Zoya said she's a known propagandist, so
hello,
I'm
agent.
just now getting caught up to speed on her.
Yeah, so let me. I'm going to show you the video, but let me show you the DM that was sent. So this is the DM I'm saying. When I put that out, this September. This is 2 years now, so a year and a half because it's only September.
I'm an active DSA.
Of course, DSA. Of course. Of course.
Red flag number one.
DSA is literally a bunch of fucking ops, son. Are you serious?
She led with a red flag. Come on, man.
Oh, you can't make this shit up.
Wow.
That actually tipped me off on how I was interacting with her and my messages to her. So I'm an active DSA who believes the need of UBI, housing reparations, decriminalization of sex, and the rights to resident. Okay, so you can Google me as I have significant headlines over the last months. So that completely sort of turned me off, and I didn't Google to find out who this person was, and I just, and I say,
Look at
first thing
CJ.
jumps out is that
Let's go.
DSA thing. It's like not sure how much awkward position you're gonna be in because you're very critical of this bullshit.
I love how CJ
I was telling the truth. I was like, hell no.
This is my favorite thing from today. I love this.
I love CJ's basic style. He was like, "You from where?"
Oh my god!
And then this was her reply to what I said, and then I'll stop here. I won't, let her go into any other personal, but I'll critique when it's called for and debate when it's not. Right. No entity is perfect, but you'll never get lib talking points. I run my own life and own campaign. Okay, so this is the history. I just wanted to show quickly before we look at a little bit more of this video. This is the history.
So she wanted to be a politician? So she said she run her own campaign. So she's a politician?
I think she probably just means her own campaign for fame or like getting.
This is what I was trying to get at, is that this is a person who at anything, like whatever I can become famous at, that's what I'm doing. So it's whatever it is. Like, is this, is that? So that's why it's so many different things.
She clearly doesn't know a damn thing about RBN. She came up in your DMs not knowing a damn thing about who you are. That's for sure.
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all.
Wow.
All right, so let's look at a little bit of this.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna read this comment from Ryan. Ryan,
he
said it's straight up social democrats and Nazis working together all over again.
It's the blue brown. That's what I'm telling you. I've been calling it that for years. It's the fucking blue brown alliance. They try to paint it as a red brown. It's the blue brown alliance, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, always has been.
That. Yeah. Go ahead.
Scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds.
Yep.
I want y'all to hear the first opening introduction to what he says here. So I think is this the YouTube? Yeah, I'm on YouTube. So let's listen.
To be on the show, and that's a lot of stuff that had to roll off your tongue regarding my.
Ooh, sorry, just patting herself on the back as she comes in as her first words.
I love
just
it.
Amazing.
This is
just amazing.
Sarah's journey.
It is my privilege to welcome to the podcast from Kherson, Ukraine, journalist, war correspondent, enlisted soldier in the Ukrainian army, all-around hero in my book, Sarah Ashton Cirillo. Welcome, Sarah.
Hey, Andrew. It's great to be on the show. And that's a lot of stuff that had to roll off your tongue regarding my different professional undertakings.
That's a lot of stuff.
I do a lot of things, you guys. I'm very busy. I'm very important. I'm very important. Oh my God.
Let's listen to another.
If you are enlisting in a foreign military who is not I know I'm not like a patriot or anything, but you're enlisting in a foreign military that's not like an ally, like a legit ally, and then you try to pretend to be a journalist too. You're not a journalist. Enlisting in the army of the country that you report, that's not a journalist, homegirl. Not it. That ain't it.
Things here in Ukraine.
Yeah, you and I met out in Las Vegas. You were in a more normal role, I would say. And now you're doing something that most of us only get glimpses of in terms of news coverage and social media clips. You're actually a source of a lot of the social media clips. And I'd urge people to follow Sarah Ashton Cirillo's accounts because you get an on-the-ground look.
And they randomly found her.
Parts of.
I'll be real quick. I want the video to keep going. But she keep going viral. She's some person who decided to volunteer for the Ukrainian military, but she keeps getting an interview. How do they keep finding her? How do they find her?
Right?
Why is she the one that keep going viral?
Right?
You guys, I am not one of these people that sees that and like, okay, that's a coincidence.
It's almost like she's being elevated intentionally.
Oh,
yes.
weird. CJ, you know me. I'm like, dude, I don't believe in these fucking these coincidences.
No.
So this person who volunteered for Ukraine just so happened that keep going viral, and they want to convince her that's she going viral because people are just interested in her.
Yeah.
No, this is an op. But go ahead. I just want to make that point. Go ahead. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, sorry. I'm playing the wrong one. I'm in the wrong screen. Sorry.
How did you find yourself in a war zone over this last nearly a year now?
It's interesting. That's a question I get often, and it's something that morphed. It was a slow time. I was covering the US political scene, specifically in Nevada, where I want to say the forward parties had a lot of success, and you personally are always warmly welcomed in the great state of Nevada. And the
God, the ass kissing.
full-scale invasion took place in February 24th. And on March 4th,
I'm just saying, let me preface this, and then we're going to end the segment with this story here. It's an unverifiable story when she gets to the part where the Ukraine stuff, and I'm just saying, it sounds so like this would be in a movie. I just did this. Like, she's gonna get I just did that. It's like, come on, this is
the way that she answered that. It's interesting. Unreal. I get that question often. Of course, you get that question often. Like, what the fuck is? What are people supposed to ask you? Like, what's your favorite color? No, you went to a war zone. Of course, they're gonna ask you, how did you? Why are you there? Like, and she's like, oh, it's interesting. I get asked that a lot. Duh. Oh.
So yeah. So listen. Let's listen to the story.
I arrived for 2 weeks to cover the refugee crisis, specifically in the border area between Poland and Ukraine. It's something I'd written about before in 2015 with the Syrian refugee crisis. And after arriving, when I came to the Ukrainian side in order to get my credentials from the armed forces of Ukraine, I was given the opportunity to go to the northern frontline city of Kharkiv, right after the Russians had been pushed out. And March 9th, March 10th, I arrived there. And I didn't leave Kharkiv for more than 7.5 months. I started volunteering with the armed forces. I went ahead and was covering the war for LGBTQ Nation for 6 months as a journalist. And eventually I started working in a civilian capacity for the Ukrainian government, and eventually enlisted on October 10th.
You served as a medic in the Ukrainian army until quite recently, where they moved you to something called hybrid warfare. And you've also been on Capitol Hill communicating to members of Congress about the importance of American support. You must have seen some harrowing things as a medic, I'm imagining.
Even before serving, I saw some of the most horrific images that will never leave me as a journalist and as a volunteer. I saw enough death to last. I never want to see another, I don't care if it's Ukrainian or even a Russian, die in this war. I want every death to be the last death, because what we've experienced here over the last 11 months, what I've experienced personally in dozens of casualties, and we can get to that point if the Russians would just withdraw, and if we can get back to the 1991 borders and
get back to 1991 borders, that includes Crimea. Do you understand? This is gotta be a complete psyop. I encourage you, Nick, to go watch the whole thing, because I guarantee you're gonna want to do a segment of part of that when you watch that whole team. But for the sake of time, I know you got your birthday.
Yeah, let me say this. I'm probably about bouncing. I appreciate you staying with us.
Yeah, nice. I gotta go soon too. I gotta pick my kid up.
Yeah. You always stay a little about 50 minutes longer, I promise. But I want to say this. I always do this. Every single time I play Miss John, like, it's okay. We're gonna do an hour this time. 90 minutes
every
later.
Time. I know that means 2. If you say an hour, I know that means 2.
Every single time. Much love to Misty Winston here. But I want to add this to wrap this segment up. Remember what we said, CJ, months ago? Actually, about a year ago. I don't know how long it's been since Andrew Yang launched his forward party. But we explained then that it was obvious that this forward party is a psyop that is designed to make third parties look bad and to siphon support for third parties. We explained earlier before, why will you create a third party that foreign policy and other policies that the establishment hate, they don't support. So you're a third party, but you don't differentiate yourself from Democrats or Republicans on war. You don't differentiate yourself from Democrats or Republicans on healthcare or literally anything.
Nothing.
That's literally exactly what the establishment wants. So Andrew Yang come out with this party just to get people who otherwise want to go third party. They're like, oh shit, Yang third. I guess I go with them because that's a third party that is offering no threat to the establishment. The establishment sees those polls, CJ, Misty. They see those polls that show 50% of Americans want a third party.
Uh-huh.
So their reaction is, how about we trick about 50% of them by putting 4-party on the list?
Yes.
You guys see what I'm saying? We literally predicted this at the back then as well. But it defeats the point. This strategy fails if you have a third party that says stuff that people want, that people like, you know what I mean? Because then you pull people away from the duopoly. So what you do, you have a third party that repeat everything the other two parties are saying, but you give a bubble for third party people to fill.
Yep.
Instead of actually having them go to something that will challenge the two-party duopoly.